Hey guys, what is up? Claire here with Clarity Nutrition. I'm here today to talk to you about intermittent fasting. I get tons of questions about intermittent fasting. It is a controversial and very popular topic in the nutrition space. So a lot of people want to know, should you do it? Should you not do it? Why maybe should you try it? Why shouldn't you? And then just kind of how to do it. So there's a lot of misleading stuff about intermittent fasting. For example, an 8-hour fast is not intermittent fasting. You just slept for 8 hours, or probably 7 hours, and it took you about an hour from when you went to bed versus when you woke up to eat. That's not intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is making that window a little bit longer. So without further ado, let's get into it. Intermittent fasting, if you are not aware what it is a tool you could use in your diet where you basically define an eating window and a fasting window. So in that eating window, that's where you're going to eat all of your food. Whatever calories that you are prescribed, what you've prescribed yourself, that's the calories you're going to eat that day. All other times outside of that window is going to be your fasting window. You are not going to eat any food whatsoever. You can break that fast with some water, some green tea, some black coffee, but no protein shakes, no smoothies, no cream or sugar in that coffee or in tea. It is completely black, sugar-free liquids going in your body to help keep you hydrated. And you really do want to be drinking water while you're fasting because you don't want to go, 15, 16 hours without water as well. That's not the point of intermittent fasting. So that's the basics of it. In the end of the video, I'll get into a little bit of how to actually do it. But first, let's talk about the benefits. There's a ton of benefits when it comes to intermittent fasting. First is going to be mental clarity and improved cognitive function and brain fog. A lot of people, when they start intermittent fasting, they note that everything just feels clearer. They have more mental clarity, that brain fog where you can't exactly focus. It feels like you're looking at a blank screen. That feeling is gone when they intermittent fast. So that is one benefit of it. It also helps regulate your blood sugar because every time you eat, especially when you eat carbs, you have a blood sugar spike. Insulin's released by your pancreas to take that blood sugar out of your bloodstream where it can be stored for energy, fat, glycogen, you name it, for fuel. That's what it's going to be doing. When we have fewer spikes in the day, our blood sugar is way more stabilized and insulin's way more effective at removing blood sugar out of your bloodstream. So intermittent fasting removes the number of times that you are going to spike your blood sugar by eating food. So it does help regulate blood sugar as well. It also is a really great tool for improving gut health. All of our bodies need a break, and when we eat constantly, our gut has to work and work and work to process that food, and sometimes our guts can get overworked and we don't do much to relieve the pressure and give it just time to do nothing. We all like our weekends. We like our nights where we get off work at 5 o'clock, turn on TV, and we just kind of down regulate. That's what our gut should be doing, but sometimes, we're eating close to bed or we're eating throughout the day. Our guts never get that chance. Intermittent fasting is a great opportunity to help reset your gut and improve gut function, mobility, you name it, coming from that gut function. The last one is just weight loss. Intermittent fasting is fantastic at helping you lose weight because you're eating fewer hours in the day. If you're one person who if you're awake, you love to eat, and you decide to intermittent fast, you're going to cut your window down from maybe 10 hours or 12 hours of eating to 6, 7, or 8. So you're actually just less able to eat more food in that time frame that you're giving yourself. So that is some of the many benefits of intermittent fasting. There are some downsides to intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is not the perfect end-all be-all diet that we want to make it. It's a fad diet. So that means, if you follow me for a while, fad diets work for some people. It doesn't work for a lot of people. There's a ton of people it doesn't work for. If you have had an eating disorder in your past, you cannot and should not do intermittent fasting. A lot of women struggle with intermittent fasting because, not necessarily because they're inherently females and their hormones can't handle it or anything of that sort, but most females, or not most females, many females have struggled with disordered eating and whether it is with a diagnosable eating disorder or just a disordered eating thought process. So the thought of restricting food is not a healthy alternative or approach to dieting. So from those people, they can intermittent fast and they shouldn't. There's also just a subset of people who just don't want to do it, and their metabolism's a little bit higher, blood sugar is they're a little bit more sensitive to those blood sugar spikes and drops. So going long without food is a little bit tougher. I'm one of those people. I can intermittent fast. I don't like intermittent fasting. I have no desire to wait a long amount of time to eat my food. I get very hangry, and I'm sure if I committed myself to it, I could make it work. I have no desire to. But the key is that I've made that decision, and I'm fine with it. So that is some of the downsides. One other downside to intermittent fasting is it is very hard to build muscle on intermittent fasting, simply because when you go through a fast, it is a stressor. So it does spike a little bit of cortisol. It does create a tax on your body. Therefore, it is really hard to build muscle doing that. That doesn't mean you can't build strength. It means that you're less likely to be able to build muscle. Meaning, if you are in a surplus and you are able to eat calories constantly throughout the day, and you're not having any of the gut health kind of side effects, you're going to build muscle better and more effectively than if you were to intermittent fast. I have had people fight me on this one. I'm not saying that you can't build muscle, just that it is a lot harder. There are a lot of studies that have demonstrated that. And I'm not saying that you're not going to have strength. I'm just saying it's going to be a lot harder to build muscle. So if that is your goal and you want to build muscle and you want to have massive PRs, intermittent fasting may not be the thing for you. Again, the flip side of this is if intermittent fasting is going to be the way that you're going to stay adherent to a diet, and you love it and you feel so good, and the gut health benefits, the mental clarity benefits are astoundingly better, and it works for you, then go for it. You'll be able to build muscle, you'll make it work, as with the people who can't intermittent fast and don't want to do it for their diet. So there is two sides to every approach. The key is, if it works for you, do it. If it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. It's fine. The key, again, is that every diet works. It just has to be the one for you. So that being said, how do you intermittent fast? I recommend starting a little bit smaller, starting with 14, maybe 16 hours of a fast. So for this, you would have your last meal around 6 or 7 p.m. Again, it's kind of up for you. If you get out of work at 5 p.m. and you have dinner at 5:30, or say you hit the gym and then you have dinner at 6, maybe make that last meal at 7 p.m. Be realistic here. And then you're going to wait 14 to 16 hours to start, at least, without food. You can break it again with coffee, water, green tea, but again, black coffee at night, I wouldn't have it. Maybe make it in that morning, but you're going to fast during those hours. So that means if you start at 7 p.m. and you're doing a 14-hour fast, you're not having your first meal until 9 a.m. If you are doing a 16-hour fast, maybe you're waiting until 11 a.m. For those of you that don't like breakfast, intermittent fasting is going to be perfect for you because you get to skip it. The only thing that I will say with intermittent fasting is it is not an excuse to not eat food. My issue with intermittent fasting, and what I see in a lot of the individuals I work with, most of them are women, is that they use it as an excuse to not eat food. And that's the problem. Whether you are going to eat in 6 hours or 12 hours, you have to eat the calories that you need to eat to survive and to perform at your job, or at the gym, whatever it is that you do in your life, you need to fuel yourself for it. And if with intermittent fasting, a lot of people will keep, say they eat 5 meals a day at 200 or 300 calories, they will keep that 200 to 300 calorie meal and just have it twice a day and say that they're intermittent fasting. You're actually just starving yourself when you do that. So that is my issue with intermittent fasting. If you are going to intermittent fast and you're going to have a, 8-hour window that you're going to eat food and everything is going to fast, and those 8 hours, you are getting 2,000 calories if that is what you should be getting. You're getting 10,000 calories if that's what is prescribed for you. You're doing it. If you're going to intermittent fast, you have to accept that you may have to eat a little bit more at your meals. So it's kind of, if you're going to build muscle, you have to understand that you've got to eat in a surplus. If you are going to go in a deficit and you want to have aesthetic changes in your body, you have to eat at a deficit. That's just how it is. If you don't want to, then just accept that you're not going to see the results that you want to see. So for intermittent fasting, my issue with it is that people use it as an excuse to undereat. You can do intermittent fasting, but you have to make sure that in that eating window, you are eating the right number of calories. This may mean that you are having 2 meals at 1,000 calories each, or maybe you're having a breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 700-ish calories each. But the key is that you're making that work. If you're going to restrict your eating window, you've got to increase the calories at those meals so that you're still able to get those calories and those nutrients in. That's all I got to say about intermittent fasting. There's probably a ton of questions that you may have. If you have a question, please feel free to email me, message me on Instagram or on Facebook. I will answer as soon as I can about your questions about intermittent fasting. If you have any other questions about nutrition or anything like that, or the next video you would like to see, please let me know and I will make sure that I get it filmed for you. With that, I will let you go. Have a great rest of your day and check back soon.